So there's this thing called RPNchef, and it makes you wonder, is it a genius system for engineering the perfect recipe every single time? Or is it just a recipe for a really, really complicated business? Today, we're going to break down this platform that claims it solved one of cooking's oldest problems, getting a dish to turn out the exact same way twice.
Come on, we've all been here, right? You get that treasured family recipe for grandma's apple pie, and the instructions are a little vague. Cut up some apples, add sugar and nutmeg, cook for about an hour. Okay, but how many apples? What kind of apples? How much sugar exactly? You know, that frustrating guesswork is the exact problem RPNchef says it was built to solve.
So what's the fix? Well, their idea is to treat every single recipe like it's an engineering blueprint. That's the whole concept behind RPNchef, which stands for Recipe Process Notation Chef. It's a system designed to standardize any recipe, from your grandma's pie to some five-star gourmet dish. And the promise is guaranteed, repeatable results every single time.
All right, so let's start peeling this thing back, layer by layer. It all starts with the foundation. How do you actually engineer the perfect recipe?
At its heart, RPNchef is basically this, a very detailed, very standardized format. It forces you to break the whole cooking process down into these separate parts. You've got preparation and equipment over on the left, then your ingredients and instructions right in the middle. The whole goal is to capture every single variable so nothing is left to chance.
And this whole format is built on what they call the 6 essentials. You've got the obvious stuff: preparation, equipment, super specific ingredients, and step-by-step instructions. But then it goes further, with sections for unique techniques and even the final presentation art. I mean, this is a system that's literally engineered to remove every last drop of guesswork.
Okay, so having a hyper-detailed recipe is one thing, but how do you actually turn that into a business? That brings us to Section 2. Turning those recipes into revenue. The business model, at its most basic level, is a pretty straightforward consignment deal. A recipe creator, they call them an author, provides their super detailed recipe, they get to set their own price, and then RPNchef puts it up for sale on their website. It's a marketplace, yeah, but with a couple of really interesting twists. Get this. When a recipe sells on the RPNchef website, the author gets 91% of the money. Now that is a really generous cut for a digital platform, but hold on, because that's not the only way an author can get paid. What if the author wants to keep, all of the money? Well, RPNchef actually has a workaround for that built right into the system, and it all revolves around these things they call coupons. Okay, so here's how it works. An author can buy a big batch of these digital coupons from RPNchef for a low fixed price. Then, they can turn around and sell those coupons directly to their audience, maybe on a blog or at a farmer's market, whatever, at any price they want, and they keep 100% of that money. The buyer just uses the code on the site to get the recipe. It's a pretty clever way to let creators completely bypass the platform's commission. But here's where it starts to get even more layered. RPNchef isn't just for the authors. The next layer turns it into a full-blown gig work ecosystem. This is Section 3, the partner program. So what if you don't actually have any recipes of your own to sell? Turns out that's no problem. The platform has this whole hierarchy of different roles where you can earn money simply by helping other authors get their recipes formatted, perfected, and sold on the system. The partner program has 3 different tiers. It starts with a finder. You can think of them like a recruiter, basically. They earn a commission on the authors they bring to the platform. Then there's the advisor, who helps people get their recipes into the right format for a fixed cut. And then, at the top of the food chain, you have the consultant, who does a full engineered perfection service and gets to negotiate their own, much bigger fee.
So we've got the format, the marketplace, and the gig platform. But there's one final layer. And honestly, this is where the business model gets really ambitious. Welcome to Section 4, Owning a Digital Territory.
So how do you scale a business that's built on individual recipes? What could possibly be the final level of this whole model? The answer is something they call the CD/T membership program. And CD/T, get this, stands for Congressional District/Territory. No, I'm not kidding. It's a system that lets you buy the exclusive rights to a digital territory that is literally mapped to a real-world U.S. congressional district. It's almost like buying a digital franchise. So as a territory owner, you get a 2% royalty on every single recipe sale from anyone living in your district, which is an area with about 750,000 people.
Now, it costs $730 a year to hold that territory, and the membership itself can be sold to another person. It effectively creates this top-level owner who profits from all the activity happening underneath them in that region.
Okay, I know. That was a lot of different layers. So let's pull everything back together now and take a look at the complete RPNchef blueprint.
This chart from the RPNchef site really helps put it all together. What it shows is basically a clear ladder of engagement. You can start out really simply as just an individual author, or you can decide to climb higher into these different partner roles like finder, advisor, and consultant, and each one has its own rules for how you earn. It's basically a map of every possible way to make money in their system.
So when you step back and look at the whole picture, RPNchef really isn't just one thing. It's 4 different interlocking systems: a rigid engineering-style recipe format, a digital sales marketplace, a multi-tiered gig platform, and a territory-based franchise model, all rolled into one. And all this complexity, it all ties back to this one core promise. Their slogan: know your cooking results before you begin. The entire business, from top to bottom, is built on the idea of creating total certainty and predictability in the kitchen.
Which, of course, leaves us with the big question. Is RPNchef some kind of innovative new model for the creator economy, giving cooks powerful new ways to monetize their passion? Or is this incredibly complex system just an over-engineered solution in search of a problem? Well, that's for you to decide.